This is the first time a man tries to wear black stockings, but the result is that the black stockings burst. He was reluctant to rush to the other leg also put on, so as to experience the feeling of being a woman. But it is far from imaginary. So the man put on mascara and nail polish, and then put a layer of hot wax on the calf, and took out a disposable sticker to cover the top and tear it. The pain is unimaginable. It seems to be very difficult to be a woman. It seems that he should first blow dry hair, but unexpectedly slipped. The hair dryer hit head on. The man hurriedly got up to avoid the hair dryer, fell into the bathtub. The man was stunned on the spot. The next day, the nanny came to clean up the room. The strange thing happened. The nanny obviously did not speak, but the man can hear her heart complaints. He did not know that he had the ability to hear the hearts of the opposite sex. After going downstairs, the security guard greeted him warmly, but what the man heard was,
I could just ride that puppy!
When the man slowed down to the street, his ears were full of the hearts of the beautiful women around him. Even the little bitches passing by were talking. He was completely dumbfounded. What is going on here? The man's name is Nick, is a small white collar. Not only handsome, but also super good at flirting with girls. But now he realizes that the smiling female colleagues are actually calling him an asshole in their hearts.
Don't look up, he'll make me hear another disgusting joke. He's such a schmuck.
Then he heard people say that he smells. Nick sniffed hard. He had sprayed perfume when he left home this morning. He wondered if he had some kind of disease, and rushed to look up the information. But after half a day of searching, nothing found. Nick had to tell his best buddy about it. But who in their right mind would believe such nonsense? Seeing that the good brother does not believe himself, Nick directly read out the heart of his female colleagues.
She thinks you're overpaid and gay.
The good brother panicked and quickly changed the subject. Then Nick attended the company meeting. Heard all the female colleagues on their own program spit the company recently to market a female product. But Nick does not understand women at all. But now he has superpowers. He began to eavesdrop on his female colleagues' voices and soon found inspiration. After an impassioned speech, his boss Darcy is impressed. But this angers his female colleagues because Nick steals her ideas. At the end of the day, Nick comes home and opens the door to his daughter making out with her boyfriend. The situation was once very awkward. Nick wanted to explain to his daughter but overheard her heart, and learned that his daughter was going to the prom with a boy. Old father flipped out on the spot. He could not watch his daughter go to the prom with a man he did not know. The relationship between father and daughter has been bad all these years, and after this play the relationship has deteriorated even more. The more Nick thought about it, the more angry. Since the superpower, everything is not smooth. Just then the sky outside the house lightning and thunder. Nick decided to give it a try. He held up the hairdryer to the thunderstorm open arms and cursed God. He wanted to be struck by lightning. The lightning received the message directly from the sky lightning. The man was stunned as expected. The next day he woke up on the couch. In order to verify whether the superpower disappeared, Nick went to the mall. The women around him were busy shopping, and their mouths were saying what they really thought. Nick thought he couldn't hear the women's voices and was happy. But when he turned his head, he heard the conversation of two deaf women clearly. Nick was completely devastated. How can he get rid of this damn superpower? He went to the most famous psychiatrist in the city and said that he had the ability to hear women's hearts overnight, which made him afraid to go out and socialize. But the psychiatrist thought it was ridiculous and thought Nick was just going through menopause. To confirm his claim, Nick asked the doctor to think of a number in his mind, anywhere between 0 and 10 billion. The doctor decided to play with him.
644,998.99.90.
The doctor was finally convinced, but she thought it was a good thing. If she could hear everything about women, she would be in control of the world. Nick then suddenly realized, if you can't get rid of it, why not make good use of it? He immediately came to Darcy's office, before the other side began to praise her. First praised a number of pictures on the wall, and then praised his boss, still charming, to make the other side very happy. At that moment, the big boss came over. He took a document and asked Darcy to give some advice. But Darcy hesitated to speak, because she wanted to organize her words first. Nick heard Darcy's inner thoughts, and took the initiative to help her tell the boss. But unexpectedly embarrassed Darcy had to explain that he was thinking the same way. The boss is happy with Nick's suggestion, but he doesn't know it's all someone else's idea. In the evening, Nick comes home from work and finds his daughter chatting with some girlfriends about what to wear to the prom in a few days. Nick has a bright idea to offer to help his daughter buy a dress, and his words make his daughter's girlfriends very envious and ease the relationship between father and daughter. In the following days, Nick used his superpowers to make a good living, but also take advantage of the female psychological research, and became the most knowledgeable woman in the company. Even Darcy, who used to have a great reputation, was completely stolen by Nick. This day, the company received a large order of several $1 million. Darcy will tell Nick his plan. She thinks there are still some places need to be optimized. Nick told her ideas in the conference room. The boss was very satisfied and Darcy felt that Nick understood her very well. She has fallen in love with the man in front of her, and Nick is also full of affection for the smart and capable Darcy, and the two slowly develop into a relationship. I thought everything would go on smoothly, but then the boss suddenly called Nick to tell him that he had fired Darcy. Since David was struck by lightning, he has a superpower that all men envy. He can hear the heart of any woman. David used this ability to capture the heart of Darcy. Career and love on the top of life. But then the boss suddenly dismissed Darcy to let Nick accept her position because he thinks Nick is more capable, not knowing that all of Nick's plans are from the inspiration of Darcy. Nick is very guilty of this, but the boss did not listen to his explanation. Nick had to find his own way, but at that moment he suddenly found that his assistant did not come to work. Through the inquiry that the other party not only did not take time off, but also missed work for several days without reason. Nick then recalled what he had heard from his assistant.
Just put the fruit down and jumped right through the plate glass. Would they notice? Probably not if I didn't get glass on it.
It turned out that the assistant was fed up with being ignored in the company and decided to end her life in secret. Nick realized that the situation was not right, and immediately took the girl's address to ask around. A kindly aunt gave him directions, but before Nick could get started, a lightning bolt struck a power line and sparks flew everywhere. Nick was also involved, but in the good news is that there is no serious injury. He did not care. Then Nick came to the girl's home and saw a suicide note on her bed. Nick thought he was too late. Who knew that the girl was behind him? Both were shocked. Nick asked the girl why she didn't go to work. The girl stammered and didn't answer. Nick had to come forward to listen to the other side of the heart, but heard nothing. It turns out that just now in the alley encountered lightning. Nick's superpower has disappeared. At this moment he did not know whether to be happy or sad. Now without the superpower, how he should guide the girl. Nick could only try to comfort her with words based on his understanding of the girl, but after a few words, the girl would give up her life. Nick let the girl know that there are still people in the world who care about her. On his way home, Nick called his daughter, but the phone could not be reached. So he went to the prom to ask about the situation and finally found her in the toilet. It turned out that his daughter had been played with by her boyfriend. But this time Nick did not directly blame his daughter, but chose to listen to her sad story first and then, as a father, to patiently guide her. Daughter finally showed a long-lost smile, and the conflict between father and daughter is completely unlocked.
Take me home, Dad.
After going home and settling his daughter, Nick's mind was filled with the image of Darcy. He found the courage to find Darcy's house and sincerely apologized to the other side, telling them that he had stolen her inspiration. Darcy couldn't believe it, but Nick's sincerity touched her.
Shook my world, changed my life, dazzled me.
With a heartfelt confession, the two finally reunited. After the events of the past few days, Nick understands that listening and patience are more important than the so-called mind-reading skills. In life, it's all about listening to understand each other.